one of my big, hairy, audacious goals I'm living right now. And sometimes I've got to wake myself up and pinch myself and remind myself that this is the dream. This is what you wanted. This is what you asked for. So it all started in 2008, and I was living in Dubai, and my flatmate, he said, "Hey, you got to read this book." And I said, "What is it?" He said, "It's the 4-Hour Work Week." I said, "Don't give me any of that shit." I said, 4 hours? I don't believe it. Anyway, I read the book with an open mind, and the words of Timothy Ferris really resonated with me. And I thought to myself, you know what? If I could build a business and live in Asia and earn American dollars or British pounds sterling or Australian dollars, I could have 3, 4 or 5 times the lifestyle living here in Asia. And so I started to take a deep dive into that book, and I started to learn the principles of outsourcing and getting virtual assistants, like I'm sure you're using. And I thought to myself, well, if I could just get my income from $50 to an $80 an hour, and if I could just get it from $80 to maybe $200 an hour, and I could do 4 hours of coaching per week, I'd be earning $1,000. And if I lived in Asia, that'd be the same as earning $5,000 a week in Australia or America. So I started to think to myself, who do I have to become to be able to do this? So I started with a big picture. And the picture was me living in Asia, cashing Australian dollars and living a very lavish lifestyle where I didn't have to grind away 40 and 50 and 60 hours a week. And so whilst I was working, I took every single course that Emirates Airline would offer me. Critical incident stress management, peer support. I studied leadership, and I did all their certification courses. And I ended up co-leading a team of 17,500 cabin crew for Emirates. So I got all this wonderful skill about leadership and management. I left, and then I moved to Asia, about $80,000 in the first year of my business, and nothing worked. But what I did learn is I learned what didn't work. I gained a lot. By the end of the year, I'd lost all of my money, and I was on Social Security with the Australian government, living in the spare room in my grandmother's house. So I thought it was going to work. But I also knew that you have to try many, many different things. So the goal remains the same. The strategies and the way that you approach the goal has to change. So it probably took me about 4 or 5 years to dial it in. And then after about the 4th or 5th year, I started to live life on my terms. I've been living in Taiwan. I've been flying around the world. I've had more than 20,000 clients through my programs. I've delivered more than 10,000 scientific case studies. My clients, one of them alone, made 138 million ringgits for Microsoft during the pandemic. And through the whole pandemic, I got to live in Taiwan, a place that I call home. So since 2012, I've been living that dream every single day. And it is really possible. But one thing that people must remember is you've got to be willing to take the hits. You've got to be willing to go through the losses. You've got to be willing to go through the trials, the errors, until you dial in your formula. And then once you dial it in, then you've just got to stick to it and make sure you do what is necessary to maintain the goal. 3 things. It's easy to set a goal. It's easy to quit on a goal, but it's very hard to maintain the goal. And once you get it, you've got to remember that maintenance is also a goal. And you should be very proud that you can maintain a particular lifestyle. You can maintain a certain level of income. Remember, that's also important. So there are a couple of things that I think are really important with your big, hairy, audacious goals.